Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video here on the SSA Philosophy channel, where we, of course, dive right on into the philosophy of characters from video games to TV shows to movies, etc., etc. And, of course, in today's video, we're going to be going over the philosophy of the character known as Riley Freeman. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on ahead and get into this video right away. So, of course, without any further ado, let us go on ahead and let us get started. So, as always, we always like to go on ahead and give a brief introduction to our characters. So, of course, Riley Freeman. So, Riley Freeman, the self proclaimed Riley Escobar or Young Reezy, depending on the season, of course, is a force of nature in Aaron McGruder's, pretty much in his satirical masterpiece known as the Boondocks. Now, this isn't like, say, your typical animated character, ladies and gentlemen, because forget the wholesome lessons and wide eyed wonder. See, Riley is a hurricane of unfiltered opinions, brash actions, and a hilarious and often misguided devotion to all things gangster. So, of course, hailing from the south side of Chicago. Now, Riley's world, of course, gets flipped upside down after the death of his parents. So, along, like, say, with his bookish older brother, Huey, Riley is sent, of course, to live with, their cantankerous grandfather, of course, known as Granddad, in the affluent white suburbs of Woodcrest, Maryland. Now, really, there's cultural clash. Really, it is the foundation. Really, okay, so really, it's the foundation of, excuse me. But really, this is like, the cultural clash, really is the foundation of the countless hilarious moments, really in the show. you know, so really Riley, he embodies, the stereotype of the, wannabe gangster, heavily influenced, by the negative aspects of, popular hip hop culture. And really, he aspires to be, a streetwise hustler, idolizing rappers like, Gangstalicious and the ever so slightly psychopathic Thugnificent. And really, his idea of success, it often involves ill-gotten gains and questionable schemes, like taking over a Girl Scout cookie racket or maybe attempting to kidnap Oprah Winfrey, because that's a sound business plan. Now, despite his bravado, Riley is a immature and often lacks critical thinking. Because he readily absorbs the worst lessons from pop culture, mistaking negativity and violence for coolness. So really, he's easily influenced and doesn't really shy away from voicing his often outrageous opinions, even if it means, getting into trouble. But really, the thing about Riley is, the thing is that Riley, even though, he is obviously, known for being, that type of character and whatnot, the thing is that Riley, it does one thing, now really, if there's one thing about Riley that I'm pretty sure we can all agree and admit is the fact that he is brutally honest, bordering on rude. And really, it's a stark contrast, really, like, say, to his more, diplomatic brother, Huey, who, constantly tries and usually fails at times to be the voice of reason for Riley. But really, here's the thing, though, about Riley. The thing is that beneath that bravado and brash exterior, really, it lies a glimmer of something else. Because really, there are moments where he actually shows surprising loyalty to his friends, even like the equally misguided ones, like, say, Ed Wunsler III. So really, there's a hint of vulnerability, a sense that, he's just a kid trying to navigate a confusing world through the lens of what he thinks is cool. So Riley Freeman is a hilarious caricature, really a social commentary that is wrapped in a cartoon, because really he is, I would say, is really the embodiment of misplaced coolness. A constant like reminder of the negative influences, pretty much the negative influences young minds can be exposed to. But really through the laughter and sometimes even the cringeworthy situations that he creates. Riley does make us think a lot of times, because really I think what he makes us think is that, really he forces us to confront, like, say, the stereotypes and the social issues that he represents, all while keeping us, thoroughly entertained. So, of course, in this case, we're going to go over, of course, the philosophy of Riley Freeman, and this is something overall, and this is something that I like to call Riley Freeman, the Street Zen Master. So, yes, I know that this is overall a very interesting, crazy, and probably overall funny name overall for philosophy. But overall, this makes perfect sense for Riley Freeman's character. But of course, you know, so the first part we're going to go right on into the philosophy of Riley Freeman. The first tenet we're going to go over is the survival of the fittest by any means necessary. So the thing is that Riley he operates in a world where danger lurks around every corner. His philosophy is rooted in the idea that the strongest, most cunning survive, and he may not win debates like say with his brother Huey, but he knows how to navigate the concrete jungle. And really this translates like say to quick wit, to hustle, and a healthy dose of self-interest. And really it's a philosophy that is born from experience, not textbooks. So really, Riley, I would say he applies this concept to the harsh realities of life on the streets. Believing that only the strongest, most cunning people, pretty much the strongest, most cunning people can survive. Because really, Riley, I would say he sees the world as a dog eat dog, pretty much like a dog eat dog competition where morality is a luxury that you can't afford. And really this cynical outlook, I would say, is a product of his upbringing in the inner city where violence and poverty are everyday realities. So really here are some key points of Riley's philosophy, really when it comes to this tenet alone. So really some key points. So really the key points in this case is for one, is self-reliance. Because see, Riley, he believes that you can't depend on anyone but yourself, and that the government, social services, even family, they can all fail you. You have to be resourceful and take care of yourself. And really, and also and also like another part, another key point is strength, because power, both physical and mental, is key to survival. And you need to be able to defend yourself and to intimidate others. And also, cunning is another point to make, because the thing is that being smart and strategic is essential. But the thing is that you can't always win through brute. You can't always win. Through brute force. So you need to outwit your opponents. And also, another key point is that morality is secondary. Now, in Riley's world, survival comes first. If you need to lie, if you need to cheat, or even steal to get by, then you do it. So really, it's important really to note that Riley's philosophy. Now this part obviously is one that can be in a lot of people's minds. It can be controversial and often criticized for promoting violence and selfishness. However, though, I would say that really it's a reflection of the desperate circumstances that many inner city youths face, and really even today, even today, like in our society, this is like say exactly like say like what a lot of like inner city youth, like a lot, like, pretty much like a lot of kids, go through a lot these days. Really, this is right here. It's like a reflection like of the reality overall that we pretty much now see these days, and how the world is right now today, how it is in our country more likely. And not just really in our country, but really like say in different countries, like around the world, like in different continents, like in Europe, maybe like in Africa, in Asia, South America, everywhere. And also another important tenet, really, to also to discuss, really, when it comes to Riley's philosophy, really is something overall I like to call, keep it G, authenticity above all else. Now, what exactly overall does this, part of his philosophy really mean exactly? So really, when it comes to this, so now see Riley, he values authenticity above all else, because he doesn't. Now, see, the thing about Riley is he doesn't conform to societal expectations, especially those imposed by white America, because he wears his baggy clothes, he bumps his hip hop, and speaks his mind, even if it lands him in trouble. So really, this keeping it G, basically just keeping it gangster, mentality really is a form of rebellion. It's a way of carving out his own space in a world that often tries to define him. But what exactly does keeping it G really mean? Like, really, it's more really honestly than just a slang, but really, it's a philosophy. Because really, what this really is, honestly, is that it means about being true to yourself, to your values and your crew. It's about being down to earth and genuine, even when the world throws curveballs at you. And really, it's about rejecting, phoniness and fakeness, no matter how tempting it might be to fit in. So really for Riley, keeping it G is about, staying true to his roots, his neighborhood, and his like say sense of, justice, of course. And really it's about calling out the BS, when he sees it, even if it means going against the grain. So really it's about, being a man of his word, someone that you can count on to have your back. And really in this crazy world that we live today, there's a lot of pressure like, to conform, to be someone that you're not. But Riley teaches us that there is strength in being yourself and that there's respect to be earned in being genuine. And really that's the essence of keeping it G. Yep, that right there is the essence of keeping it gangster. And also another part overall to focus on in Riley's philosophy really is this is, turning the system on its head, playing the fool to win. Now, see, the thing is this, Riley might seem like a simpleton, but there is a sly method to his madness. Because see, the thing about Riley is that he understands the power structures at play, and he uses them to his advantage. Like he exploits stereotypes and he plays dumb to get what he wants. Really, it's I would say a kind of like say justice wisdom, where outward foolishness, it masks like say a sharp understanding of the game itself. Now, really, Riley, I would say he finds himself constantly at odds with these established powers. These powers include like say the white authority figures who yeah pretty much who dominate the town. The oblivious middle class and even some within his own black community. Now, Riley, he recognizes the futility of conventional resistance against these entrenched forces. Now brute force or open defiance will likely lead really to his own marginalization or worse. But therefore, though, Riley adopts a strategy of playing the fool, because really, I would say he adopts a mask of ignorance and buffoonery, often exaggerating the stereotypes associated with young black men. And really, this facade, really, I would say it disarms his opponents, pretty much lulling them into a sense of superiority, and underestimating his intelligence. Now, Riley, he uses this to his advantage, manipulating them to expose their own hypocrisy and biases. So really, I would say like so really here's a breakdown of of Riley pretty much like say playing the full approach. So on one hand, you have disarming the opposition. So when it comes like to disarming the opposition by acting goofy and uninformed, and pretty much by acting goofy and and uninformed, Riley downplays his threat level. And really I would say that this disarms his adversaries, making them less likely to take him seriously or view him as a credible opponent. And also another part is like, exposing hypocrisy. Because, the thing is that, once his opponents underestimate him, Riley maneuvers them into revealing their own prejudices and inconsistencies. And he even baits them with outrageous antics, prompting them to react in ways that expose their underlying assumptions about race, class, and power. And another part overall is subverting the system. So really through his foolishness, Riley, I would say he exposes the flaws and the injustices within the system because he highlights how societal norms often favor the powerful and marginalize, and pretty much marginalize those, who challenge the status quo. And also when it comes to maintaining control. Now, while appearing submissive, Riley is always in control because he carefully selects his moments and tailors his performance to achieve the desired outcome. So really Riley's approach, really his approach is akin to the concept of pretty much to the concept of, playing the dozens. You know, really a tradition of verbal wordplay that has been rooted in African American culture. And really by using humor and wit and, veiled insults, one challenges their opponent without resorting, to direct confrontation. But also, the thing is that while playing the fool, while it does, of course, has its like say advantages, like its strengths, but there are some limitations of playing the fool. Now, it is important to acknowledge that Riley's strategy, as now it does have limitations because really it works best against like say arrogant, and self assured opponents who underestimate him. Now, it might not be effective against everyone. It might not be effective, like, say, against someone like, say, like his brother Huey, for example. But particularly those aware of his tactics, basically. Additionally, playing the fool, it can be exhausting and it requires constant vigilance. So, really, we're going to dive into another tenet of Riley's philosophy, and that, of course, is living for the moment. Hedonism with a ghetto twist. Now, what exactly does this really mean? Because I'm pretty sure by the title alone, you're probably overall wanting to know, like, what the heck is it I'm going to explain here. So, really, what I'm going to explain is really, Riley's philosophy. Really, it prioritizes, immediate gratification because he chases the fleeting pleasures. Pleasures like video games, sugary treats, or fleeting fame, with an almost Zen-like single-mindedness. And really, it's a hedonism, one that is tempered by his street smarts. But really, it reflects a core belief in enjoying what little life throws your way. So really, at its core, hedonism really it's about seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. So really, Riley, I would say he follows this principle to the teeth, pretty much prioritizing activities that actually bring him immediate gratification. So, like I said, this could be anything from like goofing off with Huey to indulging in sugary snacks, all kinds of stuff. And really, Riley's hedonism is filtered, like, say, through the lens of his environment. The world that he lives in, it is harsh and opportunities are scarce. So really his pleasures are often simple and unconventional. Like he finds joy, like, say, in street ball and rapping and hanging out with his friends, even if it simply means, petty crime or defiance of authority. And really the thing about Riley is that, he isn't, like, say, big on, planning for the future. But really because really Riley, like, I mean, he despises school and he scoffs at, the conventional ideas of success. And really his motto is to enjoy what little life, yeah, pretty much to enjoy what little he has in the moment, because who knows what tomorrow might bring. So really, here are some key aspects of this part, pretty much of this tenet of Riley's philosophy. So the few aspects in this are that, on one hand is, you have disillusionment with the system. Now, Riley, he believes that the system is rigged against him because he sees school and he sees work as tools to control and exploit, offering little chance of real success for someone like him. And what this really does is that this fuels his cynicism and his focus on immediate gratification. And also, when it comes, like I said before, survival of the fittest. Because see, Riley's world is unforgiving because, like I said before, like he views life as a dog eat dog competition, and he's determined to get his share. And really, this translates a lot, with, like, say, to his hedonism, because he grabs pleasure where he can find it, because kindness really gets you ahead. And really, when it comes, like, say, down to him being like a cunning hedonist, because Riley, like, he isn't above manipulation to get what he wants, because he hatches schemes and he uses his wits to secure himself snacks, to avoid chores, or, get out of, like, say, sticky situations. And so, really, in his mind, it's all a part about maximizing, pretty much a part of maximizing his pleasure and minimizing his pain. So yeah, so really Riley Freeman. So yeah, really Riley, so yeah, really his philosophy, you can say in this case, is it's a, pretty dark reflection of his reality, I would say, because it's a hedonism tempered by cynicism and survival instincts. Because he seeks pleasure in a world that offers little, and he does it on his own terms. And also another part we want to focus on into his philosophy is that really brotherhood, loyalty is everything. Now, the thing is that, despite his clashes, like, say, with Huey, Riley is, fiercely, I mean, he is fiercely loyal to his brother, because really this loyalty, I believe, it really extends, like, to his friends, even the not so bright ones. Because really, in a world in where, trust is scarce, Riley values those who have his back, because it's a small beacon of compassion in his otherwise self centered existence. So, really, at the core of Riley's philosophy really is the concept of loyalty. Because really, in his world, what trust, like I said before, it's scarce, and danger lurks around every corner. Loyalty, loyalty to your parent, so yeah, pretty much loyalty to your crew is paramount because it's the shield that protects you and the knowledge that you have someone watching your back. Now, Riley emphasizes that this loyalty is a two-way street. It's not about expecting unwavering support, but also about being there for your brother or maybe your sister when they need you. And really, Riley's concept of brotherhood really it extends beyond, like, say, just blood ties. Because in the concrete jungle, your crew becomes your family. People who are pretty much these are people who you share your struggles with. The ones who understand the hardships that you face, and the ones who rely on them. Pretty much you relying on them, and they rely on you. Really, it's a bond that is forged in shared experiences and a deep understanding of each other's realities. So really, Riley's world is unforgiving. Because mistakes can have severe consequences, and betrayal can be deadly. So really, like I said, his philosophy is a reflection of really like this harsh environment because loyalty ensures your survival. Because really, it's a pragmatic approach, recognition of the brutal realities of life on the streets. And really, while his philosophy, while it is born out of his experiences in the inner city, the concept of loyalty transcends these boundaries, and also the importance of loyalty is a principle that resonates across cultures and social classes. Because it's the foundation of strong friendships, families, and any group that actually relies on mutual trust and support. So really, Riley's message. So really, his message, I would say, is delivered in a pretty much is delivered in his signature deadpan wit. Because really, it's a reminder that loyalty is a cornerstone of any strong relationship. Because really, it's a choice that we all make, a commitment to stand by the people who matter most. Because in a world that can feel cold and unforgiving, knowing that you have someone in your corner can make all the difference. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that of course overall is the conclusion pretty much for the video itself. But overall, the thing is that, Riley Freeman's philosophy, now it might not be found in dusty tombs, you know, but really it is a practical guide, really to surviving, and even like thriving in a harsh world. Because he's a reminder that, wisdom can come in unexpected packages. And sometimes the best way to win is to play the fool. Now, Riley Freeman, this boisterous younger brother from, Aaron McGruder's satirical masterpiece, The Boondocks, now he's more than just a caricature of inner city youth. But really, I would say that Riley is a very complex character trapped between the idealism of his revolutionary brother Huey and the allure of gangster culture, that he sees glorified in the media. Now, the thing is that Riley, like his journey throughout the series, is actually one of a constant clash, I would say, because he clings to the streetwise persona of Riley Escobar or young Reezy, desperate to be seen as a tough guy despite his immaturity. And this bravado often it masks, really, like say, I would say, it masks a deeper insecurity, a yearning for acceptance and a sense of belonging, because he idolizes rappers and gangsters, mistaking their violent and materialistic lifestyles for markers of success. However, though, Riley, I would say, is now the thing about Riley is that he's not a complete dunce because beneath that bluster, it lies a surprising amount of street smarts. Because Riley, like, he can be resourceful and cunning and even manipulative at times. Thing is that Riley possesses a kind of brutal honesty, a willingness to call out hypocrisy even when it puts him at odds with those around him. And really, this quality occasionally makes him the voice of reason, particularly when his misguided friends or heroes, get caught up in their own delusions. So really the core tension, in Riley's character, it really stems from his upbringing because, thrust into the affluent white suburb of Woodcrest after a family tragedy, Riley struggles to reconcile his inner city, identity with the expectations of his new environment because he rejects the uppity demeanor that Huey tries to cultivate, clinging to the familiar even if it's self-destructive. So really over the series, Riley experiences, moments of growth because he grapples, like, say, with societal issues, questions his heroes, their motives, and even, like, say, shows flickers of genuine empathy. And these moments, however fleeting, they do hint at a potential for maturity beneath the bravado of Riley's character. So really by the show's end. Riley, I would say, in my opinion, he does, of course, Riley remains unresolved because he is still loud, he is still impulsive, and often wrong a lot of times. But like I said, there is a glimmer of hope though, a sense that he might one day, bridge the gap between his two worlds, forging a path that's both authentic and successful. Riley Freeman is one of my favorite characters in the Boondocks. One of my favorite characters. Really, pretty much when it comes to, like, like anime TV shows, like Riley overall is one of my favorites. One of my favorite characters of all time because Riley is a very compelling character because he really reflects the complexities of young black, masculinity in America. Because he's a product of his environment, yet he also has that potential to rise above it. And there's people like them. And the thing is, there are people just like Riley out there in the world. People that are just like Riley that we have in our society. People who are a product of their own environment, yet they have a chance, they have an opportunity, and have the potential to rise above it. So really, Riley's journey really is one that's a reminder, really a reminder for everybody, for everyone out there who is just like Riley, that change is possible, even for those who seem most entrenched in their misconceptions. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, that of course the conclusion of my video here today. Now, of course, if you of course like this video and of course you want to see more videos that I make on the channel altogether, then of course don't forget to like, to comment, and subscribe for more explorations into the minds of your favorite characters. And also to hit the notification bell to be notified and updated for more of my videos on my channel. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that of course is the end of my video here today. So all in all, I hope you all have a beautiful, blissful, and wonderful day. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to always be smooth, to always be steady, and to always be aggressive. Peace.